Hey YouTube, it's Jiggliepoof here. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, this is clickbait, isn't it? Well, I'm here to tell you that unfortunately this is not clickbait, as much as I would have loved for it to be a clickbait, but it isn't. So this is a real story of something that happened to me when I was a kid. And for some odd reason, I love sharing my embarrassing stories all over the internet. Yay! So I'm starting a new series called Embarrassing Stories, where I share some obviously embarrassing stories of things that happened to me as a kid, or just in life in general. I still see myself as a child, so whatever. And trust me, I have lots of these stories, so we will not run out of content on this topic, unfortunately. And hopefully, by me sharing my traumatic childhood experiences with you, you will feel less alone when you embarrass yourself in front of crowds or people in general. And you'll be like, oh well, it's fine because Jiggliepoof had something similar happen to her, so I'm not such a loser. Alright, so this story goes back to when I was about in grade 3, which is like 9 years old. And I was already a really socially awkward little potato back then because we had moved schools so many times and I was the new girl still at the school, and anyone that's been the new girl at any school knows that you just feel like a little awkward noodle everywhere you go for at least like a year. And on top of that, I didn't really have any friends at the school. I had the one friend that, you know when your teachers like partner you up with someone when you're new and they're like, you will hang out with this person and sit next to them so that you cannot be a complete loser and that you have at least one friend. Yeah, I had her and that was it. But you know, at least I had one friend. So during this time, it was like the end of the year, and I'm sure a lot of schools have the same thing where at the end of the year they love to have these like school plays where each class gets a theme and you get to like act out certain things with your class, which to any like socially anxious person, this is the stuff of nightmares. So the theme for my class was gypsies, and I didn't get any particular big role obviously because I can't even construct a few sentences in front of a crowd, let alone act. But so I was chosen as one of the like backup dancers. I think I was literally in just one scene throughout this entire play. So the whole play was a little bit rushed, and obviously we got parents to make our outfits, and it wasn't anything like professional because you're in grade 3. Nothing's really professional when you're that age. So we obviously had the practices and whatever, but we never actually had a like dress rehearsal until the actual day. So we never tried on our outfits until we actually went up on stage, which freaked me out, and I'm sure it freaked a lot of people out, but yeah. So on the day of the play, we were putting on the outfits and trying everything on in our classrooms and all that kind of thing. So my teacher gives me my skirt to try on, and immediately as I put it on, I'm like, this is way too big for me. I was like a teeny tiny human, like I was like, should have been in grade like 0 when I was in grade 3. I was so small. Naturally, I haven't changed that much. So now with the dilemma of my skirt not fitting and me freaking out, I go to my teacher, let's call her Mrs. Clark, and tell her my very sad story of my skirt not fitting. So she comes up with a brilliant idea to safety pin it tighter so that it doesn't fall off. So already riled up with anxiety, I tell her I do not want the whole fate of my universe relying on one little safety pin. I knew that this safety pin was not going to hold up, and I knew that my skirt was going to fall off, and I told this to Mrs. Clark, and she said, you're panicking, you're freaking out too much, everything's going to be fine, just take a deep breath, it's okay. And then I was like, it's going to fall down. So she was like, okay, if your skirt falls down, I will buy you a Coke. That's how confident I am that your skirt will not fall down. So the time comes, we're halfway through the play, everything's going fine, and it's our turn to get onto stage and do our little gypsy dance. So the whole dance pretty much revolved around about like 5 or 6 of us spinning around in circles, and first we had to spin on the spot and make our little skirts flare up, and then after, once our skirts had flared up and we'd spin on the spot, we were supposed to run around in circles and then get to the same spot and then spin the spot again. Nothing too complex. So I'm up on stage and I'm doing my little spinny thing, and I can see my skirt rising and everything's going fine, and I'm like, okay, stop panicking, it's fine, like you're fine, it's just like literally like 15 seconds and then you're off. So I did the little spin, and then as soon as we start running to get into that circle that I explained, I hear the thud of someone falling behind me. And I'm like, okay, and I turn back and I see that my girl in my class called, let's call her Bianca, had just fallen over. So I was like, oh no, and then I try and help her up. And as I'm pulling her up, I notice that she fell over her skirt. Not just any skirt, but my skirts. So as if in slow motion, I look down at myself and notice that I'm standing in front of my entire school in my blue granny panties. For me, this moment just like froze in time, and I kind of had like an out-of-body experience because I could like see myself standing on stage in my granny panties. It wasn't like I was seeing from my perspective, I was seeing it from everyone else's perspective. It kind of made this whole situation somehow worse. So I'm standing there, and after a while I just hear like laughter happening from like the crowd and from everyone around me. So all I hear is laughter, and all I see is myself standing on stage. But I'm not moving, I'm not doing anything. I'm literally just frozen, standing on the stage while everyone's laughing at my granny panties. So naturally, being the confident human that I am and was, I did not move off the stage. I just stood there. The only time I was taken off the stage was when my teacher, it wasn't even Mrs. Clark, not even the person who caused all of this, another teacher had to walk up on stage and pull me off the stage because I did not move. And as she was pulling me off the stage, that's when everything set in for me that I was just embarrassed myself in front of my entire school, and I started crying to make it even worse. And the thing that annoys me the most about this story, to this day still, is that Mrs. Clark did not buy me a Coke. She didn't even apologize to me. She didn't even say anything to me. That's still, Mrs. Clark, not Mrs. Clark, that's not your name, but if you're watching this and it was you, you owe me a Coke. So that is it. So that is my embarrassing story, one of probably a million. And I hope you enjoyed hearing about my traumatic experience and it made you feel a little bit better about yourself. And otherwise, let me know if you like this video by giving it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I make lots of content about food and embarrassing things like this and just random thoughts. So I'd love for you guys to join me on this journey. I upload videos whenever I feel like it because I'm an adult with a job and I don't have time to upload videos on a schedule. But I would do upload at least one video a week usually, so make sure to subscribe if you want more content. Otherwise, I'll see you guys soon. Bye!